Hello, Brownell students, families, and community. This is a message that I wanted to make and create to send forward to all of you in an effort to further clarify some of the changes forthcoming to our remote learning schedule. These changes, they're going to go into place on Monday, December the 7th. So I'm going to guide you through a brief PowerPoint presentation here. Again, all in an effort to make clear many things here, some changes that really are going to make for a far better learning experience for kids as we work towards pivoting and moving towards our end goal, and that is some face-to-face instruction in the near future. I'd like to begin by going over the remote schedule that is new to middle school students. There are three prominent colors that exist in this schedule. The first is a pink hue, and that is identified for our synchronous learning sessions. The synchronous learning session is live Zoom instruction with mandatory attendance. It will be recorded for attendance during this time. The other second area is more of a light orange hue, and that's identified as a work session. This is going to exist in the afternoons on all days except Wednesday, and these are opportunities for students to meet during their designated hours to work with students. All students are invited to attend. There may be times there in which an instructor will more or less direct attendance for some students and or all based upon the need that exists during this time. This is going to be a session that is not new learning, but rather a time for us to complete work, maybe to do some assessments, maybe some one-on-one student support style things, small group, large group discussions, and or maybe the reteaching or enrichment of certain concepts. The last and final hue that exists is more of a light blue, and that is independent work time. And this is time in which students can focus on a particular class, but we really want them at that time to shut down the computer, take some time off the screen, and that kind of thing. One of the other parts that I want to make sure is clear as well, noted at the very bottom of the middle school student schedule, is the A and B day concept that is more focused for our 5th and 6th grade learners. Monday and Tuesday are designated as A days for electives. Thursday and Friday are B day electives. And then one will notice on Wednesday, which is new, we have a 30-minute quick morning where we're going to visit 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th hours. These days, of course, we will have to designate as an A Wednesday or a B Wednesday. And we will do this week to week. Each week we will rotate whether it's an A Wednesday or a B Wednesday. And so we're going to start this week, which would be December the 9th, and that Wednesday will be an A Wednesday. So that's kind of how. There were three prominent common questions that were presented to me and to all of our administrators in the school district. The first is, obviously, why make this change? And first and foremost, this change was necessary because we needed to create a remote schedule that connects itself with our hybrid face-to-face model. So this is going to provide fluidity, stability, and functionality if we ever need to move at a moment's notice from a face-to-face instructional model to one of a remote learning model. So this provides that capability. So we also took this as an opportunity as well to gain input from parents and students. We had over 300 middle school students give us some input on this, as well as our staff. And one of the things that came across clearly and very eloquently was the fact that we want more time with our instructors. So we had to weigh time and screen time. So this model is a way to bridge that type of thing. The other question prominent here was the A-B day and Wednesdays. How's that working? So as already explained, the A-B elective days, Monday and Tuesday, are A day. Thursday and Friday is a B day. The Wednesday schedule is going to rotate from A to B days, and we're going to start December the 9th as an A day. And important to note is all of our days will begin at 8:30 except for Wednesday, and that will start at 8:15. And the reason why that start time is at 8:15 because we need to sync our schedule with the high school. Now, this is part of why this model, which leads us to the third and final question. This is probably the greatest of the three questions. What is going on with that inverted Tuesday and Friday where we start the day 6th hour and go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Explain this, Mr. Hunwick. So one of the things that has to work and work in a manner that is very important is we need to have schedules work with the high school. We have many students and staff who are shared amongst the high school and middle school levels. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that our schedules work cohesively with one another. So this is why the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exists. The high schools are not going to be having face-to-face lunch, as the buildings and numbers of students doesn't provide or lend itself well to a safe environment where one would take off their masks during a pandemic. So the high schools are going to have an A cohort in the morning and their B cohort of students in the afternoon with no lunch. The middle schools were able to accommodate a safe lunch environment. So being an engaged and present learner is so vital to this entire remote learning process that we want to make sure that the use of a camera is done so and done with compassion as well as empathy. But we want you to know that your presence as a student is basically us knowing that you are there and an engaged learner. So we're going to use several modalities or ways, tools, to ensure that you are an engaged learner. It might be always having that camera on so we can see that. Maybe it's a chat response, breakout room use, Pear Deck, Kahoots, those kinds of things. But it's so important to us that checking in on you that we have also decided to have a new attendance code which has a D. That if we are unable to identify that you're engaged, the D would mean that you would be, for that class period, marked as a disengaged learner. And this is going to prompt a robophone call home. And the statement here on this slideshow is what that robocall will be. And this is because we care. We want to make sure that you are there and present as a learner. So please identify that. That is new with this new remote schedule as well. I'd like to identify a couple other points here, especially student work, as I already went over the work session. But at the middle schools, we want to make sure that you don't have an inordinate amount of work outside of the school day. And so we're going to do everything within our power to make sure that outside of the regular school day, that we stay around one work of outside work per week per class. You can, as needed and under the direction of your staff and teachers, maybe work on this during some of those work sessions. But also, we want you to know that due dates, we're going to stay within the parameters that we're going to try and have assignments due at 8 a.m. each day. And we're going to have that be unified for all classes and across the school district. And we feel that this unity is going to make for a far better learning experience so that everyone is on the same page. And again, those work sessions can be very beneficial and everyone is invited. The last slide is titled Remote Learning Tips and Support, and this is a live document, and everything that you see here that is yellow or gold is a live link, and there will be a PDF of this slideshow for all of you to use this as needed. But some of the things that we want to make sure, and again, these are learning tips that we went over at Brownell back in March and revisited this year in September. But it's really important to have a school routine, and that routine needs to exist throughout the school day, even though you're at home. Get up, get dressed, get ready for the day, eat a good breakfast, go to a designated workspace in your house, maybe that is limited in distractions and things like that. Let's be on time for our remote classes. And each and every day, at the start of the day, check your email, not just the Schoology messages, but your real school email for any important messages or information that could be forthcoming. We also advocate that you create a to-do list so that you know exactly what to get done. And these to-do lists, maybe one or two different types, are available to help you to stay organized. We also ask that you visit your teacher's Schoology pages to check all of those class agendas and add in work time each day for like large projects or upcoming tests. You need to really create and have a little schedule of your own and designate times to work. Attend those afternoon work sessions. They're vital. They're going to help you. And fully commit yourself, as always, knowing who you are as Bronco learners, to just do your best. Communicate with your teachers. And as always, your positivity is infectious. So be those positive buck up Bronco students that we know you are. And if you need any tech support, hit that little link, and I can also help you in that realm as well. And again, continue to communicate with your teachers. Reach out to your counselor if need be. Monitor your Schoology work, and parents can also help with you, as we are a team. Parents, school, and you, student. So Parent Portal can be very helpful as well. And we also would be remiss not to mention, you need to balance your day. And in that balanced day, find time to exercise, eat healthy, stay connected, and you know what? Have some joy with your friends and family. I know it's tough when you're not physically able to be around each other as much as we'd like, but do what you can to stay engaged and joyful with your friends and family. And use the break time between classes to step away from the computer screen and maybe do a little bit of exercising or whatever that might be. And it's okay for you to take short breaks as needed, and there's a little tips for self-care link there. And always remember, your counselors and me, Mr. Hunwick and Mrs. McNally, the assistant principal, we're here, and we're here. Just contact us. Our emails are readily available as well. We care deeply for you and want to make sure that each and every one of you are well, safe, and joyful. So in closing, this is the last major slide, and I have a little goodbye segment coming up. That concludes our brief, informative summary of our new remote learning schedule. I wanted to just take an opportunity to thank all of you, not just community, parents, but students. You have been so very impressive in your efforts, your work ethic, and also your resiliency during a time here of a pandemic in learning for which we've never had to work with before in any of our lives. And you need to be credited, each and every one of you out there, Bronco students, for the great work that you do. We are just honored to be working with you, and we're going to get through this. And remember our end goal, face-to-face learning coming soon. The last and final little tidbit, just a reminder, Monday, December the 7th, we're starting first hour, A-Day for 6th grade, and it's at 8:30 a.m. Together we will.